So, what actually happens if you just ignore the expiration date on your disabled parking placard? Well, it's definitely not just some tiny administrative oopsie. Letting that date slide can lead to hefty fines and, most importantly, the immediate loss of your crucial daily mobility access. Welcome to The Explainer. Our goal today is to make the Kentucky Disabled Parking Placard renewal process a super simple, stress-free checklist. We're going to transform what might feel like a massive bureaucratic maze into a clear, easy-to-follow guide that empowers you to keep your accessibility rights fully intact. Okay, let's dive into this. First, we'll look at why renewal matters. Second, eligibility and documentation. Third, the step-by-step process. Fourth, common challenges and solutions. And finally, consequences and updates. All right, Section 1, Why Placard Renewal Matters. You've probably noticed that placards come in different colors, right? And that color dictates the exact timeline you're dealing with. The permanent placard is blue. It's valid for 6 full years, and it's indefinitely renewable. But the temporary placard is red and valid for just 3 short months. And here's the kicker. You can't simply renew a temporary permit. Once it expires, you have to start a brand new application right from scratch. Moving on to Section 2, Eligibility and Documentation. So, who actually qualifies here? Kentucky law sets some strict medical criteria. Basically, to qualify, your personal mobility has to be severely limited. We're talking about being unable to walk 200 feet without stopping to rest, or relying on an assistive device like a wheelchair or a cane. It also covers severe lung or cardiac diseases, as well as major arthritic or neurological limitations. In short, conditions that significantly limit mobility, respiration, or coordination are the standard qualifiers. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute core of the entire renewal application. Form TC 96347. That is the official Kentucky Transportation Cabinet form required for literally any disabled license plate or parking placard. Whether you're applying for the very first time, renewing your blue placard, or just replacing a lost hanger, this single form is your starting point. It's the whole shebang. But filling out the form is really just step 1. You also need the correct professional signature. Kentucky strictly regulates who is actually authorized to sign the medical certification section of that paperwork. For a permanent placard, it has to be a licensed physician, a chiropractor, or an advanced practice registered nurse. Now, if you're applying for a temporary placard, the state is a bit more flexible and allows physician assistants, physical therapists, or occupational therapists to sign off. Getting the right healthcare provider is absolutely crucial so your application doesn't get instantly rejected. Now, what's really interesting about this is the fee structure. Your very first permanent disabled parking placard in Kentucky, completely free. But if you need a second, duplicate placard, or if you need a replacement for a lost one, the state charges a $10 fee. And of course, the government loves to split a bill. $8 of that goes to the state road fund, and $2 is retained by your local county clerk. Okay, Section 3, Step-by-Step Renewal Process. Let's walk through the exact 4-step sequence to get that placard renewed. Step 1, complete Section 1 of Form TC 96347 with your personal info. Step 2, have your authorized medical provider sign Section 2. Step 3, and please heavily stress this one, your applicant's signature absolutely must be notarized. Finally, Step 4, submit the fully completed packet to your local county clerk's office. Honestly, skipping the notary is a super common mistake, so definitely double-check that you have that stamp before submitting. When you're ready to submit, you've got 2 clear logistical options. With an in-person renewal, you get instant validation and your new decal right there on the spot. Plus, most clerk's offices actually offer notary services right at the counter for a $2 fee. Or you can choose a mail-in renewal. That takes about 3 to 4 business days to process, and it requires you to have your form pre-notarized by a third party. Plus, you have to include a copy of your valid Kentucky ID. To give you some fascinating context on why these specific rules and $10 fees exist in the first place, let's look at a quote from Representative Jerry T. Miller. Speaking about modernizing the process, he said, "Charging a fee for additional placards and linking placards to individuals are steps we hope will cut down on the number of placards issued and help disabled populations find designated spots." Basically, it's a structured effort to cut down on systemic abuse and ensure those accessible spots stay open strictly for the folks who truly need them. Moving right along, Section 4, Common Challenges and Solutions. So, the crucial point here is addressing physical mobility challenges. What if your condition makes it painfully difficult, or literally impossible, to travel to a medical office just to get a signature? Well, the solution is telehealth. Kentucky administrative guidelines actually allow the use of secure telehealth services. That means you can meet with a licensed Kentucky doctor via phone or video from the comfort of your own couch, and they can securely provide the medical certification for your form. No waiting rooms required. It's a real game changer. Another common hurdle, what if something happens to your current placard before it even expires? If it's lost or stolen, you've got to submit a sworn replacement affidavit to the clerk and pay that $10 fee we talked about. However, if your placard is simply damaged, maybe it melted in the sun or cracked, you can just bring it to your county clerk, surrender the damaged one, and they will replace it entirely for free. Let's move to our final stretch and see how this builds. Section 5, Consequences and Final Updates. Let this serve as a firm reminder of why timeliness truly matters. The consequences of displaying an expired placard are pretty severe. First off, it's completely illegal to use, meaning you risk potential fines or citations. Furthermore, you face the immediate practical problem of losing your accessible parking privileges, which just leads to increased and totally unnecessary daily mobility struggles. So please keep that permit updated. Now, for an evergreen pro tip, please keep this disclaimer in mind. This information is based on current Kentucky regulatory guidelines as of August 2026. Because local county procedures can occasionally shift, especially when it comes to mail-in rules or local in-house notary services, always double-check for updates with your local county clerk's official resources before you apply. Which brings us to our final empowering question. Have you actually checked the expiration date on your blue placard lately? Seriously, take a moment today to look at the date punched on your permit. Don't wait until it's too late. Use the steps we covered in this explainer to take action, stay compliant, and maintain your hard-earned independence.